Most of you start your business and you go straight to expansion. You never optimize. Number one reason businesses fail is they never optimize. You need a bigger picture. You need to have patience. You need to have resilience. But most importantly, you have to learn the process of building freely. People need to understand what scale means. Scale is maximizing what you have. Scaling is the rapid expansion of what you can prove works. So most of you want to start your business and go to expansion. And just like having a great result with an employee, it's a 5-step process. Building a business to expansion is a 5-step process. You start it, you build it, you optimize it, then you expand it, and then you go through rapid expansion and exit. Most of you start your business and you go straight to expansion. You never optimize. Number one reason businesses fail is they never optimize. This is why a majority of businesses fail. And you see that line, you know what that line means. That line, if your revenue per employee is $100,000 or less, that line is called thin and wide, like a big spaghetti noodle. What happens as soon as you put a little bit of pressure at the end of each of the spaghetti noodles? They shatter. This line, if a majority of your revenue is coming from one source, like people that sell to Walmart or to Costco, or if you're reselling Microsoft products or things like this, if a majority of your revenue is coming from one source, it's called narrow and deep. And what causes businesses to catastrophically go out of business overnight is if they're thin and wide and you apply pressure, they shatter, or if you're narrow and deep and you lose your primary revenue source, you're out of business overnight. So there is a structure to building a business, which we talk about. What you want to do through extended products and services is you want to fill in your base, your fortification, your building and fortifying and engineering around your business. You're not waiting for something catastrophic to happen, and you set targets of revenue per employee of $250,000 to $500,000 of revenue per employee. And this is a stat over 4,000 businesses. Now it varies, and there's a lot that goes into this calculation. But when you start to learn the rules, don't build a narrow and deep, don't build a thin and wide. Targeted revenue per employee, $250,000 to $500,000. Profit targets based on revenue per employee. If you're $250,000, it's 20, 22%. If you're $500,000, it could be 30, 35%. And you put the rules in place and you build to the rules, then you're gonna build with freedom. But right now, none of you know the rules. So everything's hard. And most of you violate the rules. So I've had a lot of people, there's a lot of people that have moved forward with the 10X 360 here, and they ask me, like, how do I know it's gonna help me? How do I know it's gonna be specific to my business? I'm like, yeah, you'll know when you start applying where your business is at to the rules. And there's a whole bunch of rules, but if you know the rules, you can conform your business to the rules. Who's in charge of the business? Who owes it to themselves and the people that trust you and follow you to help you to know what you're doing? Who's dependent and codependent and interdependent on you making the right choices, doing the right things, and getting the right results? 90% are family owned. Every person in your family wants you to succeed. And these break points that happen aren't just professional break points. Break points are guaranteed to happen in 3 categories of your life, no matter how successful: personal, professional, or financial. Steve Jobs, one of the most brilliant human beings on this planet, had a personal break point. Did he not? He died of cancer. Well, I'd say he didn't have a financial break point. He didn't have a professional. How many professional break points did he have before he became one of the most unbelievable entrepreneurs? 2 or 3. He was kicked out of his own company. He almost lost it a couple times. Imagine just like in 2000, you're like, hey, this Apple thing, they make some cool stuff. I got 10 grand, let's buy it. You'd be hundreds of millions of dollars today. 20 years ago, things happen fast. If you take a 10 or 20 year increment of time, it happens so fast. If you're trying to do it in 1 year, it's never gonna work. So having the fortitude and the patience to let it evolve and develop. And I told you the Warren Buffett story about my mentor telling me, look, 10 million at 27, 47, 20 years later, he was worth 75 million. It didn't happen in a year. And then boom, 350, and then boom, 1 billion, and then boom, 5 billion. Why? Because it compounds with time. You need a bigger picture. You need to have patience. You need to have resilience. But most importantly, you have to learn the process of building freely.